It's great to be joined today by attorney Mike Papantonio, co-host of Ring of Fire Radio. Dupont and its spin-off company are going to be paying $921 million to 3,500 plaintiffs. This is all about a toxic chemical known as C8, which is used during the manufacture of Teflon. Many people know Teflon as that non-stick coating on cooking implements. How'd you first hear about what was going on with C8?
Yeah, well, my specialty, as you probably know, David, is to try cases. I was brought in as the trial lawyer to try the first 3 or 4 test cases. Before then, it had been worked up against completely unbelievable odds. The lawyers there around the Ohio Valley did an incredible job with no help from the media, no help from the government, no help from the DOJ at all. They did it single-handedly. As a matter of fact, there was actually pushback all along the way by the government, who simply didn't want this story told. The EPA had really dropped the ball. Department of Justice, as usual, had done nothing to investigate or prosecute the people who were responsible. So what ended up happening is it was just a long slog. That's the best way I can describe it.
In your research, how far back was it revealed that DuPont knew about the health risks that were posed by C8?
Well, they knew about health risks as early as the mid-'60s. They were performing tests on lab animals of every kind, everything from monkeys to beagles to rats, and all of the tests were bad. All of the tests showed bad health effects. So they knew right off the bat, but by 1980s, they were already warning their own employees that C8 could cause cancer. The problem was they weren't telling the American public that C8 could cause cancer. They weren't telling the people that were drinking the C8 water every day that it would cause cancer. People were having to drink C8 contaminated water. They were showering with it. They were preparing baby bottles with it. They used it every part of their life. It was a contamination level that brought up the C8 blood contamination in these people, incredible amounts. I mean, sometimes 50 times what it should have been. There should be no C-level C8 in anybody's blood. It's man-made. It shouldn't be there. But it was all over these people's lives, as it is in a lot of parts throughout this country. A lot of places in this country, right here in my hometown of Pensacola, they've got C8 in the drinking water. Well, it shouldn't be there. It's man-made.
As far as the distribution of the plaintiffs, some in our audience probably know about how in Texas there are those 5-gallon office water cooler water jugs. It's like a thick plastic. There's pollution that comes from the factories where those are produced that is very harmful to human health, carcinogenic. And when you look at what towns are sort of mostly affected by that pollution, it's poor towns, it's disproportionately non-white towns. What kind of analysis can we make along those lines to the 3,500 plaintiffs involved here? Is there also a class story behind it?
There absolutely is. What happened was you had corporate America move into the South. They came in like corporate carpetbaggers. They knew people would work for low wages. They knew that people wouldn't be concerned about the environment if they were being paid decent money, because they had to make a living. They had to take care of their family. People were willing to make that trade-off. You'd often hear claims, no matter how bad the pollution was in the South, you'd always hear some locals saying, well, it smells like money to me, even though it was pollution that was potentially killing their children. And so what ended up happening was, you'll find this area in the South, this Gulf Coast area, the pollution is extraordinary, because all corporate America knew they could come down here, pay low wages, not worry about the environment. They could externalize all of their poison all over the community, and then leave town when it was all over.
So talk to us a little bit about the trial. I mean, I'm always fascinated to hear what case corporate defense counsel attempts to make to distract or reject the allegations of liability here. What case did they try to make here?
Well, the case was that they didn't know. It was, gee, how could we have known? Well, all they had to do was read their own documents. I think the jury was moved by the idea that every trial they would hear the defendant stand up, they'd hear Dupont stand up in the beginning and say, gee, we just didn't know. If we would have known this wouldn't have happened. And then within 15 minutes in the trial, they're seeing dozens and dozens of documents that were hidden from the American public, hidden from the EPA, where it was very clear that they did know, and their intent was to continue what they were doing anyway for 50 years because they were making so much profit on Teflon. So that's the defense. And anytime you wage a defense like that, and then almost immediately that defense is crushed by the documents themselves, the testimony themselves, it's very, very tough to overcome. That's why juries punished them. Juries felt that they showed a conscious disregard for the health and safety of people all along the Ohio River Valley. And so, they were getting ready to be hit in the fourth trial for, an extraordinary amount of money. But the first trial started off with one of the minor cases that, by the way, they picked. This is the one they wanted to test. This is the one they wanted to try. And I think it was 1.8 million. Second was 5.7 million. Third was 12.9 million, something like that. So it just kept getting worse and worse for them. And they did what they should have done, which is to close this down. The reason it wasn't done soon enough is because the media did not do their job. Had the media done their job and told the story that should have been told, this would have happened much sooner. But you have an American media that they're ordered to do what they do by their advertisers. And if DuPont or Dow Chemical, who was getting ready to merge with DuPont, put pressure on the media, then they won't do their job. We no longer have a functional media. This case is the best example of that, David. This case is a case that should have gone away years ago, but the story would never be told on ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, none of the corporate media, because they simply don't do their job. It is a worthless source of information anymore.
Sometimes when settlements like this are reached, there's sort of a line in the sand drawn where there can be no more plaintiffs or litigation going forward. Is that the case here, or can there be more plaintiffs brought into this?
No, there's 70,000 people affected by this. This settlement only has to do with about 3,000 people are going to become ill as time goes on. This is the product that is in their blood, stays in their blood, David, for 25 years. It's in the environment for 2 million years. You can't get rid of it. You can't get rid of it in anybody's blood. You can't chelate it. It's there. It's going to stay there for 25 years. Unfortunately, as it stays there, the risk of thyroid disease, cancer, just as dramatically increased, testicular cancer, kidney cancer. And so this is what these people are facing. So going forward, this settlement in no way precludes people from being able to protect themselves in the future.
Well, we've been following it. We're going to continue following it. We've been speaking with attorney Mike Papantonio, co-host of Ring of Fire Radio, also host of America's Lawyer on RT. Always great to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you.